Hello and welcome to this video tutorial on raising a purchase order and raising a request for quote in ManuDyn Cloud 9. We will start by raising a request for quote. Click on the Purchase Orders menu group and then click the Request for Quote menu item. The Request for Quote screen is similar to other data entry screens in ManuDyn in that there is a blue toolbar at the top of the content area where we can enter the record that we wish to work with or raise a new item. In the field located in the blue toolbar, we need to create a new item, so select the new icon and then select an empty row in the suppliers grid. This recalls the detailed dialog to set the supplier. We can now type in a supplier code or use the lookup search function to enter a supplier. Each supplier should contain a contact name and email address as the minimum information. See the Getting Started video on companies for where this information is loaded. You can also enter additional suppliers if you would like to have this quote from multiple suppliers. Next, we need to set the items against which we want the supplier to quote. Selecting an empty row in the items grid will recall the detail dialog so the items can be selected. Once an item has been selected, you will need to enter the required quantity and due date for the item. The request for quote line items have been loaded into the grid, which displays the quantity and date required for each item. You can add other items to this grid by selecting an empty row at the bottom of the grid to repeat the process. To save the request for quote, click the Save icon in the toolbar or the OK button at the bottom of the tab. The request for quote can then be recalled for review or to add other items to the request list. To generate the document, to go to your supplier, simply select the Print button in the blue toolbar. The request for quote document displayed can be printed or emailed directly to your vendor by selecting the email option. Once you are finished generating the request for quote, you can return to the home page by clicking the Home Page button at the top left of the screen, or by clicking on the Exit button in the toolbar. Next, we will look at how to raise a purchase order manually rather than through the inventory order processing discussed in the previous tutorial. Click on the Purchase Orders menu group and then click the Purchase Order menu item. Select the new icon to generate the purchase order number and use the lookup search to select the supplier. Then select an empty row in the item grid. In this dialog, we first need to select the item code which we wish to order. If this item has been ordered before, the supplier will be displayed, which allows you to set the quantity required and the due date. The price can also be altered, and any other charges or shipping costs can be placed here. The order can be assigned to a specific job if required. Once the details have been entered, select the OK button at the bottom of the Details dialog. The purchase order line item has been entered, and you can add other items to this order by selecting an empty row at the bottom of the grid. To save the order, you can select the OK button at the bottom of the screen, or if you select the Print button in the toolbar, the order advice will be generated so that it can be printed or emailed directly to your supplier. This completes the video tutorial on raising a request for quote and a purchase order. In the next video tutorial, we will receive a purchase order through the Receive Purchases menu item. Click on the link to start the next video.